Hey y'all, my name is Pranithia from Everyday Kingdom Living, and of course, you're watching this on my channel. I'm gonna keep it real quick, I hope, because in lieu of everything that's going on with our economy, I have been led to share this with you. I was on food stamps myself. I was getting $700 a month. I was using them wisely, doing what I needed to do, and then suddenly, come February, March, it was my renewal period, and God whispered to me, "Do not reapply. I will supply." And I was like, hold up. I'm doing a lot with this. I'm doing a lot with this. I need this. And he said, no, you don't. You know that I supply all your needs and above all your needs. And when I supply them, I supply an overflow. I need you to be obedient and I need you to trust me. So that's exactly what I did. It took a little while. I was hesitant about a lot of things, had a lot of questions, prayed a lot, and decided not to reapply. When I decided not to reapply, God gave me a strategy. So I'm going to give you some of the things that I do, not all of them because it'll make the video extremely long, but I'm going to give you some of the things that he led me to do that got me to where I am today, where I'm not relying on food stamps to provide food for my children. Is it different from what we were used to? Yes, but it's working, and that's what counts. God has shown me that my income, no matter what it is enough as long as I'm following these few things. And I will share more of them in a lengthier video. So if you're interested, just let me know in the comments. Put like a raised hand or a bag of flour or something. I don't know what emojis out there right now. Just letting me know that you're interested in learning more about what I've done, the process in like more detail. So the first thing I was told to do and the first thing I knew to do was to stop and breathe. Now this was back in March when everything was just like skeptical or it was a possibility, but we didn't really know if it was gonna happen or not. I knew God had already said this is about to happen. I need to prepare you in advance so you can help the people. So the first thing I had to do was stop, breathe, and pray. The reason why you want to stop is because you got all these thoughts running through your mind about how am I going to provide? Where is it going to come from? Um, this was the bulk of my income. If I transition from having food stamps and now I got to do this out of my own budget, I can't do that. I can't afford all these things. I can't. It's just a lot of I can't. It's a lot of words. Like I said, I just want you to shut off your mind. And if that means you got to wait until your kids are sleeping at midnight to have some quiet, do it for yourself. Do it. Do it for yourself. Get on your knees, not to just pray, but get on your knees, curl up in a ball, and if you need to cry, cry. If you need to go sit in your car to yell and scream, go. Do whatever it takes for you to relieve yourself of the intense pain that is coming from the fact that you may not have enough to provide for your family. I've been there and I know what it feels like. So trust me when I say give yourself room to release the worries and the concerns and the cuss words and everything that comes with not possibly being able to provide food for your family. Let it out. After you're done, breathe. Because if you just did that ugly sobbing cry, now you got to take some deep breaths. I want you to take about 4 breaths, like take a deep breath in and then blow it out and do that 4 times until your mind is clear, your nervous system is regulating, you're calmer. I want you to go drink some water. And then I want you to come back and actually take some time to pray. For those who are believers, who this video is for, I'm trying to help everybody, but if you're not a believer, it may not sit well with you, some of the things that I might say. And that's okay. But I am also giving some tangible things. So stick around. But for those of you who do pray, that's what you want to do next. You want to pray specifically, not God, how am I going to provide? I can't provide for my family without food stamps. We have to remember that when we pray, we're saying, God, I'm trusting that you said in your word that you are going to provide my needs, that you are going to provide these things for me. And then when you provide, notice when he had the fish and the loaves, it was overflow. When he dealt with the lady with the oil and her last little bit of flour, It happened in overflow. She had an abundance of oil. Every time God blesses us with something, He does it in abundance. He does not just want to take care of just food in our house. When God says, I'm not only about to take care of the food in your home for your family, of however many, number doesn't matter to God. God is big. He's going to take and overflow that into other areas of your home. So He's taking care of the food, He's taking care of your electricity bill, taking care of your rent, taking care of your car payment, taking care of your debts. God is going to cover everything for you. But you have to say, God, obviously you know that I'm already going through this situation. Obviously you know how I feel about it. Obviously you know that I'm worried. But I also know that you said that you're going to supply all my needs. So you're going to show me the strategy, because I believe you are. You're going to show me the strategy I need for my family. And the strategy could very well come through a person like me, who's been there already, who's got some steps that I'm giving to you. So listen close. So that's the first thing I want you to do. Second thing I want you to do is determine the cause of why you are on food stamps in the first place. Foundation, on a foundational level, we all on food stamps, or we're on food stamps to provide for our family, provide food for our family. But where did that come from? Where did the thought that we needed to stay on food stamps for a certain period of time, very lengthy one, some people, why did we have to stay on food stamps that long? Why did we never go out and figure out in our budget, hey, wait, I don't want to stay on food stamps for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. I eventually want to get off of them. Now that was the difference between me and some people. I decided for myself I did not want to keep my family on government assistance for a long period of time. My whole goal was to use it for what initially it was intended to be used for. It was supposed to be temporary. But a lot of people have made it a part of their livelihoods. And today, more than ever, now that we actually need it, the funds aren't there necessarily to provide it in a way that they used to be. If you catch my drift, there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes. But that's okay, because we're prepping. We're prepping. We're already getting our mindset to know that I am either making enough, or I am going to find a way to make enough to provide food for my family. And then the enough I don't like to use, because I know God does exceedingly and abundantly. So I'm going to make what is necessary for me to provide food. I'm only sticking to food right now. Food for my family. So I want you to think about the root cause, because some of us may have seen grandmama, grandpapa on food stamps, and then our mamas got on food stamps, and now we the kids on food stamps, and then our kids are going to continue this cycle. And somebody got to say, I want to break the cycle. I no longer want my family on food stamps. Somebody has to make that decision. Let it be you. Okay? Figure out the root cause. If the root cause is legit, my income is so low that I need it, then we know our income needs to go high, high, high. If the legit reason for being on food stamps was because I actually, just be honest with yourself, I just got comfortable with that being taken care of for me. That was one less thing I had to think about, especially being a single income household. That was one less thing I had to think about. And so I could focus on my other money on my bills. For me personally, when I got a divorce and I got on government assistance, because my income wasn't going to be enough at the time to cover everything, that was like I didn't have to think about that part of my budget. I knew food was going to be taken care of, and I could use the bulk of my income to take care of everything in my house. But once things shifted, I was like, well, God, if you're about to take this away and shift this, then you must are about to increase my income. And sure enough, He started doing that. But that's a story for another day. You want to do what I'm about to tell you in point number 2, is think about what your family actually eats. And when I say actually eats, I mean down to the T, actually eats. My daughters and I spent a year prior to this year, with all this going on. My daughter was in cooking classes for 2 years in a row. During those cooking classes, she learned to cook from scratch. So she started at about 12. Now she's 14. She learned how to cook from scratch. We made everything from scratch. Uh, Bread, cinnamon rolls, pretzels, all kind of stuff, make it from scratch. And it's going to come in handy. It has come in handy. Think about stuff that we eat and how much stuff we leave behind, how much stuff we throw away that we bought. Think about that 20-pack box of chips. And in the box is Cheetos. Me and my children, we don't eat when we bought the box, we never ate the freaking 7 or 8 bags of Cheetos that was in there. The regular crunchy Cheetos. Puffs, sure. Never ate them. But God started changing my palate first. So I started the slow process of eliminating certain things from our family. We stopped drinking sodas altogether. When I tell you Sprite is on occasion, Sprite is on occasion. I don't even remember the last time I had a Sprite. I know when I drank Sprite, the very, very last time I drank a hot Sprite, for one, it was like warm, and it burnt the world out of my esophagus. I was like, I am never, ever drinking Sprite again, much less any other soda related beverage on the market. Now in our house is juice, it's ginger ale, it's water. I used to drink coffee, done away with coffee, went to tea. Now I drink, if I do drink tea, it's not caffeinated, but if anything, water, water. This thing gets filled up at least 3 times a day. It's 32 ounces. Yeah, 32 ounces. And I fill it up at least 3 times a day. I just fill it up with water first thing in the morning and ice to the top and sip throughout the day. By lunchtime, I'm filling it up again before I go to bed, filling it up again, drinking through the night if I need to. Um, so you're gonna have to really do some searching in your home and pay attention to what's being eaten and what's not. Not every chip, not every cookie, not every Twinkie, not every pack of frozen pancakes in the freezer. Sometimes it's not being eaten. Do you really need 5 bottles of ketchup on the shelf, 5 bottles of mayonnaise? Yes, we do need to stock for what's to come. But we're on a budget right now. And if we're trusting God to provide, then we may not be in a financial position to necessarily stock. But you are in a position to buy the staples and what you need for your home. Because remember, we're transitioning from a mindset of I got it all provided for because I don't got to worry about my income when it comes to my income being affected when it comes to my food stamps. But now your income is affected because you don't have food stamps. Now you have to figure out. That's my alarm, y'all. I apologize. Anyway, when we have when we're used to something being provided for, we tend to not think about it in our income. It becomes like an additional on this side. So when we have to take our income now and say, wait, I gotta buy food for my family now. Now you gotta alter your mindset. You gotta shift your thinking, think a little differently and say, okay, well, we have bought plenty of snacks, but now we don't eat a lot of snacks. We're not gonna eat a lot of snacks anymore. I'm gonna talk about how that goes. You just gotta think about snacks versus necessity. Okay. Go through the process of elimination. There are some things in your house that your family just does not need for health reasons, for dental reasons, for hygienic reasons, allergy reasons. There's some stuff in your house your family does not need. You may even have pets. Those pets count in your budget. That those things go through your house, eliminate. Say, well, we don't really eat all the chips that's in the box. We don't really finish every single snack, or all we're eating are snacks and not food. Then it's time to make a shift in your budget and say, okay, I got to figure out what we're actually eating so that I'll know how much money I need to actually spend. Which brings me to point number 3. Look at your income. If your income is really small, for example, just an example, you make $1,500 a month and your food stamps were $700 a month. You're gonna have to take that $700 a month, cut it in half, maybe even in fours, and say, wait, half of $700 is $350. So I'm gonna have to show my family, train my family on how to live off of $350 worth of food. Now, for me in my house, that technically works for us because I only spend about $87 on food every week. So 4 weeks at $87, 87 times 4. All right, my phone's acting up now too. But $87 times 4. Let me go ahead and try my calculator on my screen right quick. It's 348. So I'm roughly spending half of my income. I mean, half of my original food stamp income, what I was getting for food stamps. I am spending half of that now on grocery paying out of pocket. Now that 348, roughly 350, let's just round it up to 350. Out of that 350, I actually spent months, starting in March, I spent months looking at what my family was actually eating, what we weren't. Cutting things out of our diet because it wasn't healthy. Changing things around because it wasn't owning up to nothing in our lives. I traded out buying a bag of fries, a bag of frozen French fries for a bag of potatoes. Now, how many things can I make out of just plain old French fries versus a bag of potatoes? I can make mashed potatoes. I can cut up the potatoes and make hash browns. I can make cubed potatoes with seasoning. I can saute the potatoes. I can add cheese on top of the cubed potatoes. I can make fries. I can make baked potatoes, potato casserole, potatoes cut in little and put cheese across the whole spread. Potatoes are endless. Rice. You can put vegetables in the rice. You can make fried rice. You can add chicken. You can add shrimp to the rice. You can do so many things with rice. Start buying staples with your money and figure out what are the staples in your house that could fill up your family, stretch for the week, and that can provide you with multi-purpose use like potatoes and shrimp. I mean, potatoes and rice. Okay? So develop your budget. And this is just your food budget. You're just creating a food budget. Like I said, if your income is 1,500, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard because you may have to figure out ways to increase your income. You may have to let God not only show you how to use what's in your budget to get food for your family, but you may also have to let him show you, where can I increase my income? Well, I need to do something on the side at night. Will I need to work a couple of hours doing something while my kids are sleeping? Sometimes we're getting pushed into a season where we got to make sacrifices for things that we thought we'd never have to make a sacrifice for. But the biggest sacrifice we're making is being a parent or the guardian of a family, and we have to take care of them, which means we got to do whatever we got to do. And if we spend time crying, fussing, stealing, taking, doing things that are contrary to providing for them, we're not providing for them. If we're complaining, crying, we're on the floor having a tantrum and a fit, we're not providing for them. Use that energy where it needs to be used. Don't keep using that energy, giving it to the government. The government wants us to trip. The government wants us to go crazy. It wants us to go wild. We got to stay focused. Okay, you taking this away? I'm going to show you what I can do with that same energy. I'm going to show you what I can do with the same thought process. So you got to show yourself, you got to wake up and prove to yourself that you can provide for your family. And I don't care what the dollar amount was. Remember, I was one of those people with an income of $1,500. I had to get very, very creative on using my gifts and talents that were right there in my hands to increase my income with God's help. God showing me what to do with it. So look within, look at what you're actually eating and decide what that budget amount is going to be. Usually you can cut whatever you originally get in food stamps in half, and that should still supply what you need for your family. Which brings me to number 4. How do you determine what that looks like when it comes to how much money and how often you should set it aside? I get paid weekly because I'm an entrepreneur. So I constantly have money coming in all throughout the month. I set aside $87 a week for me and my daughters, which totals up to roughly $350 for the month, which is half of what I was originally getting from food stamps. And I cut out stuff we didn't need. So for you, if you get paid once a month, you're going to go grocery shopping once a month. Now, that does not mean necessarily that, how can I put this? That you don't have to go back for milk or eggs or things like that. But it does mean that you do need to be savvy when it comes to that, because milk can be put in the freezer. If you pour a little bit off the top, then you can let the rest settle and freeze. So you can buy 1 or 2 gallons of milk and put it in the freezer. You can buy bulk bags of like beans to cook on the stove and bags of potatoes, a 5-pound bag or a 10-pound bag. You can get things like that in large quantities, and that will take you through the whole month. If you get paid every 2 weeks, bi-weekly, you're going to shop bi-weekly. If you get paid weekly, you're going to shop weekly, because that way it's easy to track when your money is coming in. Instead of trying to buy something every week and you don't get paid weekly, it's easy to say, oh, I got paid $5,000 this month and $500 of it is for food and food only, and then stay with that. Which brings me to point number 5, food and food only. Look for deals and specials and all kinds of stuff at places you never thought of. I had no idea that this gas station had a meat market in the inside. My mama showed me. Ghetto? Yes, very much. But I had no idea. But the amount of meat you walk out of there with for the money that you're spending, you could stockpile your freezer easy. They had everything from turkey wings and chicken drumstick legs and everything. They don't even market. I don't even think they really promote the, like on the outside on the sign. I don't even know if that sign, I know it says it sells meat, but it promoted itself like it had all of that in there until I went in there. That was my first time. But for people that are looking for that, look for those specials, look for those deals to stock up your freezer with meat. We need that protein. That protein is one of the more heftier substances that will allow us to feel full, as well as starches. But just watch how many starches you eat, because starches turn into sugars as well, and carbs turn into sugars as well. So watch how much of this stuff you're eating. You want your plate to be balanced, to where not balanced like food pyramid, but balanced to where you're satiated. You're gonna know. And sugars are not the one. You can get your natural sugars from fruit. So if your kids aren't eating fruits and vegetables, slowly introduce it to them in other ways. Make a smoothie. Chop that fruit up real small. When I tell you sprinkle the littlest bit of sugar on a fruit to get them to start eating it, their palate's still going to acquire a taste for that fruit. You just want to sprinkle a little bit on it just to get them like, that tastes just like candy. My grandma used to sprinkle sugar on like every fruit we ate, on strawberries, grapes. You cut them up, and after a while, you start to acclimate your palate to enjoying the flavors, and then you just slowly eliminate the sugar. Same thing with vegetables. Start cooking them in all sorts of ways. We know collards and mustard greens. You can saute them in a pan with just butter, salt, and pepper, and it tastes good. You can put them, mix them into something. You can blend them into that smoothie. Whatever it takes for you and your family to get accustomed to eating things that are actually healthy and will actually fill up the body versus a snack is better. Notice how much snacks are beginning to cost versus fruits and vegetables. Notice the price increase on the snacks versus the fruits and vegetables. And there's one thing I am glad about is the fact that, I'm sorry, some of y'all might not like what I'm about to say, but at food stamps, you can't even buy snacks for them anymore, because it shouldn't have never been. Food stamps should have been to buy the healthy things for your family. You kind of should have been forced to buy the healthy things for your family. And if you wanted snacks or something outside of that, then you just had to provide it. That would have eliminated certain things a long time ago, especially like childhood obesity and diabetes and things in the home. But now that things are going the way that they're going, now we have the responsibility of eliminating certain things for ourselves. Think about how much better your health is going to be now that you are buying within your budget. So you only are going to be able to buy the things that you need, not the things that you necessarily want. But you're also learning how to wean yourself off of the support of the government. We don't really need it, and y'all know we don't. Last thing I want to tell you is growing food. I'm doing several videos on this. I've been growing food forever. I got a whole company, the Backyard Garden Experience, on how to grow food, videos everywhere. And I'm going back to that. I'm about to show y'all that too. Because I want y'all to know, if you live in an apartment complex and you say, well, I can't grow nothing, yes, you can. Some people's balconies have it's a decent sized balcony. Doesn't have to be one you can walk out on. It just needs to be one that can hold a pot. One flower pot. That's all you need. I don't care what size it is. One flower pot can hold a couple of seeds that can grow you some food that can provide for your family. And imagine if a complex of about 18 different apartments in it, everybody has a balcony, and everybody says, I'm gonna grow XYZ on my balcony, you're gonna grow this on your balcony, you're gonna grow this on yours, and we're gonna swap as a floor or as an entire unit. We're all gonna swap what we've grown. Imagine that. Imagine you getting so good at growing green peas on your balcony that you got so many peas growing all over the place that you're able to harvest them and then share them with your neighbor who growing collards on her balcony, and the other one's growing tomatoes on her balcony, and the other one's growing squash on her balcony, and now y'all all feeding each other. That's what I show people how to do. That's this whole movement. Be self sufficient. We do not want to survive and have our provisions come from the government. We want to use what's right here in our hands. And then think about a fruit, think about a vegetable, and how many seeds actually come in that fruit or vegetable. And if any of you have been privy to how fruits and vegetables used to look, it used to have a whole bunch of seeds, especially in a banana. Bananas were never the way the bananas look that we have here. If you go to other countries, you're gonna see how many seeds are inside a banana. But I digress. I digress. Anyway, videos for other days. Videos for other days. That's the 5 things I want to throw out at you. Stop, breathe, and pray. Think about what y'all actually eat. Budget accordingly. Make sure you watch when you get paid and how often you get paid, because that's when you're going to shop. And 5, look for specials. Look for meat deals. Look for fruit deals. The mandarin oranges in my area went down to $2.96. They pretty much was like, let's get rid of them before the next stock come in. Me and my girls eat them so quickly that it wouldn't have lasted in our house anyway. And I took advantage and bought 2 or 3 bags of those oranges that week. Look for the specials. Do not panic. I repeat, do not panic. I will be making plenty of these videos because I want you to know step-by-step instructions on what God has shown me and how I've gotten to where I am, not worrying about food stamps. I have not worried about food stamps since March. April, May, June, July, August, September, October, almost November. So for 8 months, number of new beginnings, I have not had to worry about where food provisions are going to come from for me and my children. And I want that for you. I want that for you. So stay close to me. I'm going to do a lengthier video on each one of these steps so that you can get your family to where they need to be before food stamps get shut off completely. And who knows how long it's going to last, if it's ever going to come back. But when it comes back, I want you to be in a mental position to say, I didn't even need it to begin with. And now I know. Thanks to this wonderful lady and the God that she serves, thanks to the energy that I redirected from over here panicking and going crazy about what I don't have to realize that I need to put praise and worship into what I do have. All right. So in the comment section, I want you to put the little praise wave hands. If you want my free PDF, I got a PDF I'm putting out about the 10 things that God has shown me for strategy on how to survive the no food stamps situation. So it's a no food stamps PDF guide for you and to help you thrive, not just survive. And then I have a couple of workshops coming up, free workshop. So if you want all that information, you want me to reach out to you in your DMs, go ahead and put them hands down below. I'm also going to share it in the comment section. All right, thank you for joining me. Remember, I'm Everyday Kingdom Living. I'm Pranethia, and I love y'all so much, and I want y'all to succeed because we know who provides, the King. Have a good day.